Well, I'm on Blue Sky, which is a social media thing. It's sort of like a sane version of Twitter. And like it just gained 14 million new followers, new users in this month. And there's a lot of them are gravitating to me. And what they're asking me is, what's it like in Mexico? They're thinking about moving because there's going to be, a lot of changes coming. And one of the changes that people are quite worried about is that there's going to be a change to our Social Security, not a good one. So this is what I have to say about this. Mexico is not interested in poor people. They are interested in people who are solvent and who are not going to bring problems to the country. So if you're thinking, oh boy, I went there once for a spring break in 1980 and it was just wonderful. To get a permanent residency right now, you need to be able to show a fixed income, provable income of around $4,500 a month, dollars. Now, it doesn't really cost that much to live here, quite frankly. I'm living on much less than that. I don't know. It's under 2,000 a month. And when I first applied for permanent residency, you needed about $2,500 a month fixed income. But I owned property, so that was counted. The other thing is, there's a whole bunch of things. Just if you're interested, just go to the Mexican government website and say, hey, what does it take? I think that if you are interested in any country, the first thing you want to get is a tourist visa. And those are generally very easy to get. And you can get yours at the border as you enter Mexico if you drive in. Or I don't know if you can do that if you fly in. Or you might have to apply at the Mexican embassy. But it can all be done online. Okay, so it's not a big deal. It can all be done online. You just have to have it stamped once you enter Mexico. And it's around $35 for a tourist visa, which is good for 180 days, about 6 months. And that's pretty much a good time to acclimate yourself as to whether you actually want to live here or not. I live on the northwest Pacific coast of Mexico. I'm about 150 miles from the United States border. I haven't been there in a couple of years, but it's there. And I just called a Mexican neighbor of mine to say hello, wish her, Feliz Navidad. She said, oh, I'm on the way to the United States. So she's going shopping. She's do her Christmas shopping there. They've made it a lot more difficult to cross the border than it used to be. I don't know exactly why. Because smugglers are not arriving at the border to go through the kiosks there to show things. Smugglers are going around the border, right through the river or through the mountains. They're not driving up to San Ysidro or out to Tecate to cross the border legally, all right? But for those of us who want to cross legally, we have, they've made a little grief for us. Now, the other thing I want to say about Mexico is every single community is different. And I started out in basically American expatriate communities. And they all have different personalities. A lot of people don't know that Mexico has high altitude. If you go to Centro, into the mainland, it's high altitudes. And I can't do high altitudes. I'm old. And a lot of you, if you're on BP meds, blood pressure medications, you can't either. Altitude increases your blood pressure. Also, they're hot. I went to Oaxaca in November. It was in the 90s. It's supposed to be in the 70s, but climate change. So you want to look where you want to be. And you can do that, honestly, probably have to go on Facebook to find these groups and to sort of get the sense of what they're like. If you go closer to the border, in my estimation, further north from where I am, these American communities have recreated their American life. Whatever they liked about, they have steak nights and football nights and, I did not move to Mexico to be in an American community. I moved to Mexico to be in Mexico. And it's taken me a while. I've been here 12, 13 years now, the second time around. And what I did was move from neighborhood to neighborhood till I found what felt right to me. And as it turned out, it took me a long, long time to realize that what I really missed was street life. So I live in a neighborhood now. There's like children who live here, which is the other thing. You never see children if you live in an expatriate community. Everybody's old like me. So, if I see a little girl, she's riding her bike out, or the boy is even younger. I think he's 5. He's like on a tricycle or something. There are dogs in the street, friendly ones. There is young couples. There's also retired couples here. or people who have just come, the people across the street from me, they actually live in Mount Shasta, California, and they come here for the winter and then they leave, I guess, in April and go back to Mount Shasta. So I want to say this: moving to Mexico or any other country is not going to solve the problems of your life. If you're in a marriage that's having problems, you're going to have problems here. If you have health issues, I do think you could become healthier here for one good reason: the food is better. The food is better. Not if you go to Costco and you buy the stuff that's imported from the United States. Good luck. But because the United States had a friend of mine, let me, oh, I know I'm jumping around here. For example, the other day I had a brunch and a friend of mine said, "Don't worry, I'll bring the maple syrup." And she brought the maple syrup. And I looked at it, it was in a plastic bottle for one. I went, "This is very suspicious to me. It's in a plastic bottle." And I turned it around and I read the ingredients. There was nothing, there was no maple syrup in it. There was all chemicals. I said, "This bottle of maple syrup, so-called maple syrup, in 1,000 years you can use it. That's the shelf life, is 1,000, maybe 2,000 years. Civilization could be wiped out and this bottle of chemicals would still be there." I did not touch it. I did not taste it. I simply put raw honey that I've been using for a month, nobody's gotten sick, on the table. And guess what? Most people took the honey. We also added, because we were having wonderful waffles she was making, fresh fruit, chopped up apples with honey, some strawberries and bananas. We did not, as it happened, I have no butter in the house because I have high cholesterol. Well, I don't. I have low cholesterol right now, and I want to keep it that way. So I don't have butter. And it was just wonderful. If you buy and you have to look, because now USA apples are here and we all know they've been poisoned. We know that. The best thing, if you can, is to make sure or find a neighborhood where they grow their own apples, where they come from somebody's backyard. That's perfect. There's somebody's figs, they came from their backyard. That's the best way because they haven't been sprayed with, 1,000-year-old chemicals. I've gotten healthier since I'm here. I'm 84 now. I'm 84. I arrived here. I was a mess. I was just a mess. I was 10 pounds overweight. I was just always anxious. Now, I do have to say I'm not exactly laid back, but I'm not better than I was. So it's just, look at the embassy requirements. That's all. But first, I would say do not. A lot of people do this. They get a permanent visa before they come to Mexico, and then they're here for a year, and they discover they don't like it. One step at a time, okay?